One.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear parents, students, teachers, and school administrators, it is my pleasure to be the MC for this first orientation meeting of our second semester. I'm teacher Liana, and I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We thank you so much, our dear parents, for taking time off your busy schedule to join us today. Before anything else, I would like to call upon our beloved student, Yahya Khamam, for Quran recitation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأمة رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Yahya, for the beautiful recitation. To begin our first orientation meeting, we are pleased to have our dear principal, Mr. Brown, to deliver his welcome remarks. Mr. Brown?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Apologies, the microphone was off. So I just wanted to begin with saying Jazakallah khair to India. I think the recitation was very beautiful. So, Barakallah fi. So just to welcome our students and parents to semester 2 and our orientation day. It's a great honor to have you with us today. Can we move to the next slide? I'd like to begin with Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. I think it's always a good reminder to have a look at the Hadith. This one is narrated by their illustrious companion, Anas ibn Malik, radiallahu anhu ta'ala. He reported, a man said, O Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, should I tie my camel and trust in Allah? Or should I leave her untied and trust in Allah? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, tie her and trust in Allah. So this hadith is really about the tawakkul. And it's a good reminder for us, especially since we're going through the pandemic of the COVID-19 coronavirus, and we have the means. So here, the Prophet ﷺ is telling the Bedouin that you must tie your camel, this is the means, then you have the tawakkul, then you trust in Allah. So we have that trust in Allah, that He's going to take care of us and protect us from any harm, but we must take the means. And this is what the government has given us, the MOH. They've made it perfectly clear to follow the SOP, which is to sanitize your hands, to wear the face mask, to have the social distancing of 1 meter. So we need to take the means. This is important. And once you take the means, then inshallah, you can put your trust in Allah for Him to protect you, inshallah ta'ala. So it goes hand in hand, inshallah ta'ala. Next slide. So just to mention that, Islam is holistic in that it's not just a religion, having rules and regulations, but rather it's a complete way of life. And this is why we call a deen. It's a complete way of life. So we expect from international school, we want to make a conscientious effort to try and develop the students' Islamic personality and character. inshallah ta'ala. Next slide. So hand in hand with our vision is our mission. Our school is built upon 7 distinct pillars of qualification, and this is the bedrock of our school. We want our students to be academically qualified, Islamically qualified, innovative and technologically qualified, culturally qualified, psychologically qualified, sociologically qualified, and health and physically qualified. And we believe if our students are able to achieve this, then they're able to improve and reach their potential and become the leaders of tomorrow. So we want our students to be able to have a major impact in the communities, in the country and the world per se. So we believe if our students are able to be qualified in all of these 7 pillars, it will put them in good stead to make that major contribution in the world that we live in today. Inshallah ta'ala. Next slide. Yes, I want to speak a little bit about the growth mindset. So according to the researcher Carol Dweck, there's 2 types of mindsets. There's the fixed mindset, and then there's the growth mindset. Now, according to Carol Dweck, some students, they have a fixed mindset in that they believe their basic abilities, intelligence, and their talents are fixed, that they're actually set in stone. They think that you are born with a certain amount of intelligence and your IQ is actually fixed. And what you tend to find with students that have a fixed mindset is that they always want to appear that they're intelligent. They have this fear of making mistakes. Whereas we want our students to have a growth mindset. And this is the understanding that you can believe that your abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, with perseverance, with learning, with resilience, and your IQ can actually increase. You can become more intelligent. I mean, one of the quickest ways for you to raise your IQ is by asking lots of questions in lessons. If you ask lots of questions and you're answering lots of questions, for sure your IQ will improve and it will increase and you'll become smarter. So we want our students to persevere and to know that when you come to school, intelligence is not fixed. So you can improve. You have a certain potential, and then you want to reach that potential, and then you want to improve and become even better. So you have that starting point, and you can move forward, inshallah ta'ala. So it's very important for our students to understand this idea of having a growth mindset, that you're not just talented. People have a talent, but you can get better with hard work and perseverance. So we need our students to take risks. We need them not to be afraid of making mistakes. So just to end with an acronym, if we go to the next slide. So this is really about failure, that we don't believe any student fails as long as they're working to the best of their ability, they're trying extremely hard, and they're conscientious. You don't fail, because fail stands for first attempt in learning. You might make a mistake, but you learn from that mistake and you can move forward. So this is really an important concept that we want to really try and instill in our students, especially throughout the whole of semester 2 and years beyond, inshallah ta'ala. So I'd like to end with that. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for the wonderful speech. Now I would like to invite Mr. Hafiz to introduce our homeroom teachers and subject teachers. Mr. Hafiz would as well share with us the learning overview. Over to you now, Mr. Hafiz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, dear our MC today. And first of all, I would like to welcome all of you, my dear parents, our dear parents, to our orientation day today. And inshallah, I will introduce our homeroom teachers, as we value our homeroom teachers as the ambassadors. So let's look at the list of the homeroom teachers for Kuala Lumpur campus. For primary here, for lower primary, year 1, year 2, and year 3, we have here for year 1 teacher Ahlam, for year 2A teacher Helwani, and the co-teacher is teacher Dia. For year 2B, we have teacher Nadia and teacher Afra. For year 3A, we have teacher Fatima Hamdi and teacher Yasmin. For year 3B, we have teacher Umaima and teacher Shashnaz. For year 3C, we have teacher Norliana and teacher Abir. As for the upper primary classes, For year 4 boys, we have teacher Shariza. For year 4 girls, we have teacher Zaleha. For year 5A, we have teacher Khadija. Year 5B, we have teacher Fatima Safi. For year 6 boys, we have Mr. Ahmad. And for year 6 girl, we have teacher Anjali. These are the teachers, the homeroom teachers for Kuala Lumpur campus. Next. And these are the homeroom teachers for Putrajaya campus. For primary levels, year 1P, which is year 1A, we have here teacher Aisha, and the co-teacher is teacher Amani. For year 1Q, we have teacher Farah and teacher Adlina. For year 2P, we have teacher Salima and teacher Ainun. For year 2Q, we have teacher Najiha. For year 3P, we have teacher Farina. Year 3Q, we have teacher Fatin. And for upper primary levels, for year 4, we have teacher Iman. Year 5, we have teacher Smaya Aziz. And for year 6, we have teacher Khadija. Next. And these are the homeroom teachers for secondary levels in Putrajaya campus. For year 7 girls, here we have teacher Baidura as the homeroom teacher. For year 7 boys, we have teacher Nasiruddin and teacher Nur Fadila. For year 8 girls, we have teacher Nasuha and teacher Sumaya. For year 8 boys, we have teacher Hilmi. And here for year 9 girls, we have teacher Sharfa Ain. And year 9 boys, here we have teacher Hazira. For year 10 girls, we have teacher Liana and teacher Salam. For year 10 boys, we have teacher Shakirullah. Year 11 girls, here we have teacher Shahida, and the last but not least, for year 11 boys, we have teacher Kazim. Thanks. Inshallah, let me introduce you our team members, our academic team members. More or less here for both campuses, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, we have about 50 teachers. Here for Kuala Lumpur campus, for lower primary levels, for English, we have teacher Noliana. For mathematics, we have teacher Zaleha. For science, we have teacher Ahlam. And for ARQ, which stands for Arabic, Islamic, and Quran, we have 5 teachers here, who are teacher Abir, teacher Afra, teacher Umaima, teacher Fatma Hamdi, teacher Fatima Safi. And for ICT, we have teacher Nadia. For Bahasa Melayu, here we have teacher Hilwani. And we have 2 teachers for physical education, which are teacher Shahinas and teacher Tia. And here are the upper primary teachers for KL campus. For English, we have teacher Karija. For mathematics, here we have teacher Indrani. For science, we have 2 teachers who are teaching science, teacher Aisha and teacher Nadia. For ARQ, we have 3 of them, Ustaz Ahmad, teacher Yasmin, and teacher Fatima Safi. For ICT, we have teacher Azhar. For Bahasa Melayu, we have teacher Sharida and teacher Shahidat and teacher Dia. They will be teaching physical education. For Putrajaya campus, these are the list of established teachers for lower primary level. We have teacher Aisha for English, teacher Najiha and teacher Ijian for mathematics. We have teacher Farida and teacher Najiha for science. And we have 5 teachers who are teaching ARQ subjects, who are teacher Salima, teacher Amani, teacher Fatin, teacher Rukia, and teacher Iman. We have here ICT teacher, teacher Ain. For Bahasa Melayu, teacher Farah. And for physical education, we have 2 teachers, teacher Shahida and teacher Khadija. Okay, next. These are the teachers for upper primary levels. We have teacher Ainun for English, teacher Sumaya for maths, the same teacher, teacher Sumaya and teacher Intan for science. And we have 5 teachers for ARQ, teacher Kazim, teacher Iman, teacher Armani, teacher Fatin, and teacher Salima. We have 2 teachers for ICT, which are teacher Ain and teacher Adlina. Teacher Najiha will be teaching Bahasa Melayu, and we have 2 teachers for physical education, teacher Helmi and teacher Khadija. Okay, next. These are the teachers for lower and upper secondary. In Putrajaya campus, we have here for English, teacher Ainun. For mathematics and STEAM, teacher Hadira. For science, teacher Fadila. For mathematics and admits, teacher Nasuha. For Malay language, teacher Baizura. For physical education, we have two teachers here, teacher Helmi and teacher Shahida. Teacher Intan will be teaching physics, mathematics, and STEAM. Teacher Faraliana will be teaching English, and we have teacher Adrina for ICT, and teacher Izian will be teaching chemistry. And these are the rest of the teachers for secondary levels. We have teacher Mahmoud. For computer science and STEAM, we have Sheikh Ra'ain, who will tackle biology for year 10 and 11. We have teacher Farah for STEAM. For mathematics, we have our principal, Mr. Brown. For English, we have Madam Suraya. For ARQ subjects, we have Ustaz Shakirullah, Ustaz Kazim, and Ustaz Nasiruddin. And we have also here Ustaz Salam and Ustaz Somia. Thanks. And here for the learning overview, let me introduce you the school day for both campuses. For the whole week, from Monday and Thursday, the schooling day will be from 8 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Regardless, we have physical class or the online class. It is inclusive of the ECA programs. And for Friday, it is from 8 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. And plus, we have the bonus classes, which is flipped classroom for certain subjects that will be conducted by our teacher. And in total here, we have 34 sessions per week. Okay, next. Inshallah, maybe you wonder how do we access our students. These are the school-based assessment that we practice in our school for the whole level for both campuses. For lower primary, we emphasize on the hands-on and practical assessment, which are the oral assessment, written assessment, and project. We have 2 projects for each semester. Next. And for upper primary and secondary, both are identical. So throughout the semester, we have assignments, we have quizzes, we have midterm examination, as well as final examination, and the last but not least, we do have the projects. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Hafiz, for the information shared. Now, I would like to invite Madam Suraya to share about our learning resources and facilities.
Thank you, Teacher Liana, our MC for today. Assalamualaikum, dear all parents and students. So today I will explain to all of you about Spectrum International School Blended Education. So to start with, one of the main objectives of this presentation is to convey a clear image about the stage of development that we reach from the academic side that will inshallah ensure you that we will, as usual, achieve success with our students academically. What is blended learning? Okay, as you can see from the diagram on the screen, blended learning is an effective approach to educate and where it combines online educational materials and opportunities for interaction online with traditional place-based classroom methods. So it means that it requires both physical presence of teachers and students with some elements of students' control over time. In short, blended learning is a model that combines both online and face-to-face learning experiences. One of the practices that we use is the blended project-based learning. It is a model in which the student uses both online learning, either in the form of courses or self-directed access in face-to-face instruction. It's a collaboration to design and publish project-based learning assignments and tasks. Okay, next. Okay, most of us might ask, why do we choose to practice blended learning? There are a lot of reasons on why we are practicing this approach at the moment. So as you can see, the first point is to boost learners' efficiency. Where with blended learning, teachers can provide students with instant access to their learning materials wherever they are and whenever they need them. This is because blended learning relies partly on technology and all the learning materials are accessible online. Second one is to build engagement. So this engagement process will be enhanced and therefore there will be more opportunities for assessment where it will be like consultation sessions about the shared goals between teachers with their students in person or virtually. Next, it also provides better communication With blended learning, teacher can easily update students on new announcements, assignments, their test results, and anything that is related to the subject. For point number 4, it's explained about it will improve collaboration. So blended learning will enable students to work together among themselves, to engage in discussions and to provide useful feedback to one another, where it's undoubtedly leads to more improvement and high engagement. This next one is keeping track of learners' progress. With blended learning, teachers can view reports of the online test, and they can also identify the areas where the student needs more help, so that it can help both teachers and students to improve and reach their full potential. The last one is enhancing teaching efforts. So with blended learning, teachers can always include other different learning styles, where they can include PowerPoints, they can include images, audio files, video files. So this is one of the key reasons why blended learning is very efficient. Next. Okay, flipped classroom. What is flipped classroom? Okay, one of our development in teaching for learning approaches is the implementation of the flipped classroom. So you may notice that we already included flipped classroom in students' timetable starting last semester. A flipped classroom is an instructional strategy and a type of blended learning whereby it focuses more on students' engagement and active learning. So flipped classroom gives teachers a better opportunity to deal with mixed level, to handle different student difficulties, and also to apply differentiation in learning. So we noticed a few positive feedbacks from our students, where we can see that their potentials are growing and they are more capable in working independently, with of course getting enough and sufficient support from their subject teachers. So relevant learning materials are going to be shared with students, normally through the subject Google Classroom before the session. So in a way, it will turn to help the students to become more participative in class activities. During the session, for example, students will practice in applying the key concept they have read before, and they will share with the class, and they will get the feedback. So after the session, students can always check their understanding to extend their learning, and they can practice or they can showcase this through their projects, their assignments, and also presentations. Next. Okay, flipped classroom. Why do we do flipped classroom? So here are some reasons why do we include flipped classroom. So first of all, students can get less frustration with their homework. For example, when students watch or listen any videos at home or any notes, they can read it from home. So they can solve the problem and they can apply the new knowledge in the classroom. So therefore, they can get less frustration with their homework. So the second one is students can ask questions and they can get immediate targeted answers. We believe that when they don't understand a new concept or the new topic that the teachers taught them, they can always ask questions, and inshallah the teacher will provide them with immediate answers. So other than that, to explore subjects in a deeper manner, which means that the time in the classroom, it could be limited for conversations. So this kind of collaboration will ensure that students can explore subjects in a deeper manner. And last but not least, to catch up with the peers faster and easier with the flipped classroom model than with the standard one. So in case for some unfortunate days that maybe the students are absent due to illness or they couldn't reach school because of certain issues, they can always catch up with their peers by joining this flipped classroom model compared to the standard one. All right, so next, spectrum education module. So it's constantly being developed, and several new resources are to be integrated. So as you can read, as you can see from the slide, the G stood for Education, Power School, Microsoft for Educations, and also the other academic platform. So it also involves interactive digital modules where students can access all topics from primary up to advanced level. where of course it's covering Cambridge curriculum and also the other popular examination boards. We also have interactive digital library. It's working exactly like traditional library but with better features, of course, like they have interactive books so that the student can be more active and interested in learning, where they can be more engaged and relate to the real life experience. And the final one is the school portal. Okay, it's a place where everyone can utilize online resources provided by Cambridge and also the Ministry of Education. Next. Okay, now let's have view from subject perspective. It's very important to have a holistic module to support the blended learning, of course. So that's why we are going to introduce this platform for students. So during this challenging time, we couldn't be more thankful than to have strong online teaching resources. So by this time, I believe that all Spectrum students, they are all aware and in good understanding of our online support resources. So I'll introduce all the learning resources for English, Maths and Science subjects. So let's start with TWIC. Okay, the TWIC platform provides school-wide access for thousands of 3-minute films that involving science, maths and also geography. So as well as worksheet, lesson plans, quizzes and diagrams. So it's really easy to use TWIC resources. So by using TWIC, actually teachers can get safe age-appropriate content that is beneficial for students. So other than that, it's also matched with our curriculum. If you use TWIC, that you will see that especially for use in school, and it match a range of curriculum, and it could be used for different ways. For example, students can get a better introduction for a new topic, they can get the illustrations of the topic, and of course they can be ready for revision. They can always refer back to this platform for revision process. So students, they can log in to the website from home and they can read or pre-read or pre-watch the topic in advance, so that when they arrive to the classroom, they'll be ready to talk about the topic. So after all, they can always re-watch the video for better understanding. Okay, let's move to the next slide. All right, next is TikTok. So as you can see from the screen, TikTok is that logo, okay? So TikTok is a resource that provides videos and support tools for elementary level, especially for science subject. So the content is organized with online and in classroom activities. Is suitable for both online and also physical class that will include life, natural and physical sciences topics. So students can watch real life examples. For example, they can actually watch video instead of like just looking at a picture, an image from the textbook. So it'll be like more, it will spark their imagination and then it will engage their mind. So TikTok, it comes with clear narration and it will make the students to understand the concept easier, inshallah. So other than that, it also enables searching process, so they can always discover things that they want to learn related to science subject. Okay, next. Okay, TikTok Junior. So basically, it's similar with TikTok. It's just like it was designed for children aged 4 to 7, which means it's more specific for lower primary students. It also includes a lot of stunning videos for our students' reference. It's believable that students will get more interested in science, inshallah, with the help of course, their subject teachers. So students will be able to pay more attention by using this resource, especially when they can relate to what they've been told with the visual support, inshallah. Next. MyIMS. Okay, let's move to another learning resource, MyIMS. It's a good resource to provide teachers and also students to access for notes, activities, and revisions for for the math subjects. It is beneficial for all levels, start from lower level up to advanced level. So this online resource, it comes with a lot of helpful notes and maths relevant activities. The lessons, it also comes with homework tasks. It also comes with the assessment, games, and more. So the most important aspect is students, they can actually access material at any time, which means that if they have time to do extra mathematics work, they can always refer to MyIMS and do their own self-revision. So it could be any topic, could be any level. It's very helpful. So students can get more understanding. So if they have difficulties understanding in the classroom, they can always refer back to MyIMS and practice more on the specific topic. So it's more fun and interactive way to learn maths. Next. Okay, another learning resource we have is PET. Okay, so PET, it provides fun, free interactive research-based science and mathematics simulations. So the keyword simulations. Students and teachers, they all can practice doing these simulations by using this learning platform. So it can be, the simulation process, it can be accessed online, or the students can download to their computer, so they can always practice and look at the simulation process. These activities will support the science project, and they will enable to use these resources anytime they want. So they can, if they have doubts or they have curiosity for science experiments, they can always use that. Now next. Okay, for introduction, this platform is OneStop Solution. It was developed by Marshall Cavendish Education. It also works as digital education resources, and you can view it from here. By complimentary access, actually you can find a range of maths and science resources. It's designed to engage more interactive and more engaging activities, which will be fun for our students. So it includes a wide successful digital learning solutions. For example, for math subject, you will find maths buddies. So maths buddies is equipped with learning videos, practice how to solve the questions, and also interactive support, especially to support our students to be more independent and they can practice the self-directed learning. Next. Okay, QFiles. It works as a library because, as you know, library is very important because it will provide us with a lot of information like cultures and science or innovations. So this site is actually, it was created by Orpheus Book. Okay, it's a company from Oxford. This is one of the most leading publishers that produces children's non-fictions and other reference books. So you can see this company has already published some great we call it publishing, such as Oxford University Press, The Penguin, so Reader's Digest, and many more. So in fact, some of us might have read these reading materials in hard copy. So it's now in soft copy. It's like in QFiles. So the pages in QFiles actually, it was written by experienced children's writer. So you will notice that every page, it comes with high standards of accuracy, and students can all get help in their writing and also their vocabulary. So students and parents, all, we can enjoy the reading process with QFiles as it's more interactive. It also comes with help, like helpful features like to read in the correct pronunciation, and it's very, very it's very interesting, so that students can also get their vocabulary growth. Okay, so it's beneficial for children's education. So you can always log into QFiles by accessing through our school website. I guess that's all for me. Thank you. I'll pass back to Teacher Liana. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Madam Soraya, for sharing these imperative platforms used by our school. Now, I would like to invite Ustaz Shadi to share with us about our learning resources for Arabic.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks, Teacher Liana. Thanks, Madam Soraya. And thanks for all parents for being with us today. Actually, we need to ask a question. We have the Arabic language. Why it's important for us? Because we are Muslim, and the Arabic language is the language of our revelation, the language of the Quran and Sunnah, which have been revealed from Allah Azza wa Jal to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this shows the importance of the Arabic language for us as a Muslim and for us in the Spectrum family. Actually, one of the biggest challenges in learning the Arabic language is practicing the Arabic language in a community where its people do not use it to communicate with each other. This is one of our challenge that we face. Our platforms that we chose will help us to achieve and to overcome this challenge after the assistance from Allah Azza wa Jal. So our new platforms enable the students to practice the Arabic language, all the skills in the Arabic language, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And actually we are focusing on the listening and speaking skills to encourage the students to communicate with the Arabic language. And also the parents have this chance to utilize these platforms so they can have self-study for the Arabic language at their homes. We have two platforms for the Arabic language. The first platform is called Kalimun. And Kalimun actually is our main curriculum for the Arabic language. The second platform is called Barak. The second platform is called Barak. In Spectrum, we chose the direct method to teach a foreign language. There are many methods for teaching a foreign language, but we chose the direct method. It's also known as the oral or the natural method. It's based on the active involvement of the students in both speaking and listening skills to the new language in realistic everyday situations. So we put the students in a real situations daily to practice the language. The process consists of a gradual acquisition of grammatical structure and vocabulary. The student is encouraged to think in the targeted language rather than translate. So we push the student to think in the targeted language, which is the Arabic language. So we don't base or we don't rely on the translation, because as we said that the direct method doesn't use any intermediate language or in translation. So if we need to explain the meaning for any words, so we can use photos, videos, we may make some actions to help the students to understand the meaning without using any intermediate language or without translation. So our new platforms, which are Kalimun and Barak, comply with the international standards for teaching a foreign language. They provide the student with the opportunity to learn according to their language's level and allow them to progress accordingly to their abilities. Skills and previous experience, this will be achieved by using many educational tools through our platforms, including animations, games, interactive elements, quizzes, mind mapping, enriching stories, and printable learning resources. Next slide, please. When we talk about the Quran, it's clear for all the Muslims how it's important to recite the Quran and memorizing the Quran. So also in the school, we don't only rely on the halaqah in the school. We use the platform which is called Al-Muqri to help the student at their homes to practice, to recite and listen to the Quran in order to improve them faster as much as possible. Next slide, please. When we talk about the Islamic reminders, we will use all our modules to communicate with our students, to follow them up not only academically, but Islamically as well. As we know that Islam is the right religion. Islam is the religion which must be practiced every time and every day and everywhere. Must be practiced in mosque, in the market, in the street, in the school, and in the workplace, and at home as well. So these modules that we have are powerful tool which help us to remind our students to pray, say adhkar, read Quran as much as possible. So our role is to teach the students and remind them as well to practice what they have learned in the school. Allah said in Surah Al-Dhariyat, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين. Remind, for indeed the reminder benefits the believers. We ask Allah to assist us to do our role as He loves جزاكم الله خيرا. Thank you very much. I'll pass the speech to teacher Liana. Thanks.
Thank you, Ustaz Shadi. Last but not least, I would like to call upon Madam Salwa to speak about the school code of conduct.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Sister Liana. Thank you, Sister Shadi, and all our members who present before me. Welcome our parents to our orientation day. Jazakumullah khair that you present here. I want to talk about the code of conduct. As we know that any school will have this kind of conduct, just to be sure that our student having a proper school and a very safe environment and clean environment to live in this school all this time. They need to have this good environment with full facilities and to help them to just have their study in a very good condition. And our student and also our members, the staff, they need this kind of environment. So we need also the student to be sure that they are going to attend all the classes and to be responsible about their learning, and also to share with us to keep this environment safe and always clean. Next. So to have this kind of conduct, we need also to be sure that all the students understand what's the meaning of this conduct, how they can practice it, or how they're supposed to do it. So we have to educate them to practice and to do these things. Starting from the first day of the school, how to be punctual, how to come to school, how to attend your classes, and every lesson you have to be on time, even starting from the assembly until the last session. So students must understand this, especially nowadays, because we are studying online. So even we are online, we have to practice the same conduct. The student must know that they have to attend all the classes online. They cannot miss any class. They have to attend and they have to be punctual and to be also participate and be active, inshallah. So they have to start from the beginning, the assembly, until the last classes. So the whole school day, our students must be sure that they are present, they are active, they are attending all the classes, inshallah. Next. To be able also to let the student having this safe environment and secure, they have to have a responsibility regarding this environment, and also they have to take care about all the properties inside the school, because this is belong to them and to others. So they have to protect it. They have to not abuse it, and they have to use it in a proper way. They never device it or delays it, or the property of the school. They have to take care about it, and also they have to report about anything happening. If it's damaged or somebody does something wrong, immediately they can do this report to their teacher, to the staff, the academic principal, assistant principal, or to any staff member. So the student must understand they are also responsible about this kind of action. They have to be responsible about their school, their properties, and they have to be sure that they are saving with us this environment for themselves and for others to enjoy and to have it always clean and healthy. And also the situation of this kind of this environment in the school is serving them in a proper way. So no places can make a dangerous place for them. So if they are in the right time, in the right class, in the right time, for example, in the break time, they are in the place for the break. When they are going to have a BE classes, physical education, they are in the right time with the right teacher. They cannot go by themselves. They cannot do things without taking permission, or the teachers or the supervisor for any class knows where they are, how they are practicing all the things that they are doing in the school. For us to guide and also educate our students to understand this kind of code of conduct. We need your help as a parents and we as a staff also to educate them and to show them all the right things that they're supposed to do, and also they are responsible to follow and to participate and to show the good behavior and how to follow this kind of rules and regulation in the school, just to be sure they are safe always. And inshallah, all of us, we are going to do this, especially nowadays. We are also online. We are taking care also how our student is disciplined during the online classes, how they respect the time of the class, how they are using a proper language. They are not using the online classes or the devices in a wrong way. In the same time, the student must understand that they have to bring to the school the things that allow to bring it, not the things they suppose to bring it as they want, like the games, or they bring their laptop or their own device or the hand phone. So school not allowed the student to bring this, just to keep them safe from using these things and in a wrong way. So in the same times, maybe he will lose it. So the student, the school is not responsibility to save these properties for the student. So we want the student to understand what is the rules and regulation, what is the things they have to do it, what is the things they supposed to avoid it. And inshallah, together we will cooperate to teach and to guide our students to understand this kind of conduct, to live their life easy and safe, and also to behave very good, inshallah. Next. So as I mentioned here, the student must stay in their classroom, like as I mentioned before, and they have to be in the right place, in the right time, in the right also way. Especially now in the online, I want to mention to the parents, please let your son be always on time, following the timetable as it is, and they are also saving their device and use it in a proper way, because we don't want them to misuse these devices and get harmed from their eyes or also for their health. We need them to just follow the rules and regulation, how to use these devices to help them and to support them in their education. Next, please. So for us to be sure that our parents having also the guidelines, we provide here. If you can just click the link, Sister Liana. It doesn't, okay. This link is in fact our parents zone in our website, which is having the parents student handbook. Parents student handbook have all the things regarding to the system of the school and the student, how they are going to behave in the school, and the levels of the misbehavior and the levels of terms of condition, the rules and regulation in the classes, the rules and regulation in the bus, in the break, all the things. I hope all the parents can help us and support us to read with their kids this parent handbook. And inshallah, this will guide us how to let our students be aware about what is the right, what is the wrong, and how to keep them always safe in our school, and also even if they are online, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let us always safe and always follow his guide, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how he guide us to be always safe. And inshallah, this kind of conduct can help us always to protect our kids and our staff and to be in a good environment. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you so much. This is just sample from the conduct. Inshallah, when you read the parents students handbook, you will get more further information, and you can ask about it, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Madam Salwa, for sharing about our school code of conduct. Thank you very much, teachers, for addressing our agendas today. Now, I would like to humbly request our dear parents to scan the code on your screen and share your concern with us. We are now open for Q&A session. Inshallah, teachers and school administrators are here to answer your questions. So parents, kindly scan the code and type any questions you have for us. Okay, we have a few questions here. The first question, I would like to have a printed exam results for my kids. Where can I request for it? And I would like to request a parent-teacher session with my kids' teachers. Till now, I didn't get any invitation. Mr. Hafiz, would you like to share the information with us?
Thank you so much, Juliana, for the parent-teachers meeting, inshallah, for the second batch of the admission. I'm working with the affairs to arrange in a session for the orientation between myself and the new parent. So, inshallah, I believe our student affairs department will keep in touch with the parents very soon, because we have conducted one orientation for new parents that were held on last Monday. So I believe, inshallah, for the next session, the student affairs will communicate with the parents, inshallah.
Thank you, Mr. Hafiz. Okay, the next question here. Hope to solve the scanner problem before the checkpoints exam or any test, because sometimes technical problems occur. Hope to have. Can we have Mr. Osama to share with our parents the options, inshallah?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, dear parent, for your question. If I understand your question clear regarding the scanner matter, actually the scanner, we already provide some tools and some application for the scan. One of the tools that if you have a mobile, you just need to download the application. It's called Chem Scanner, and we already put it a manual for how you can use this application. After the student answer in the paper sheet, they just need to scan using the mobile and then upload it to the form already in the exam classroom. If they don't have the applications, they can just snap with the photos, the mobile camera, they can just snap it and then upload it to the photo. If they don't have a mobile or there are issues in the camera, they can just scan via the printer. So there are some options you can utilize, and we already put it in the manual. If there are a specific question, you can just scan it again and highlight it more details so I can answer. But in general, this is applications. There are Cam Scan application, you can use it. You can use the camera mobile. You can use the scan of the printer. If the printer don't have a scanner, you can just utilize the camera of the mobile, or you can use the Cam Scan application, and you already put the steps in the manual in the parent Zoom. I hope I answered your question. If the answer is not clear, please scan again, and I would be happy to answer you, inshallah. Thank you, Teacher Liana.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Osama. The next question, I believe, would be answered by Mr. Brown. A parent asked about when will the mark be given to parents. Over to you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Teacher Liana. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So just wanted to go back to part of the question that then they asked regarding the PTC. The PTC will take place on the 9th of January, and that's open to all parents. So you have an opportunity to book an appointment to see the teacher specific to the subjects you're interested in. And if you want to have another discussion after that, then obviously you can make an appointment to see a teacher. So just to clarify that point. And also there was a part of that question about the academic results being printed. We try to be a paperless school. We have been for many years. So what we do is we provide the results via Power School. We send that to the parents via the Power School. So we'd like you to access the results that way. But at the end of the year, every student will receive a printed version of their academic results. The other question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. The next question is about the application of flipped classroom for grade 1 and grade 2 last semester. So I believe Mr. Brown would be able to answer this question.
Yeah, the blended learning has been in effect from the beginning of the academic year. So we have been implementing the flipped classroom as part of the blended learning strategy, and that will continue throughout this semester, whether students are in the school building or whether they're online at home, we'll continue with that strategy. So it has been in effect from the beginning of the year, and obviously teachers are doing it to different degrees.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. The next question. Will KL campus be open for physical classes? If so, when? And the parent wish to not send their child for the physical class, and if it's possible for her to continue with online classes through Google Meet.
Yeah, so in terms of the schools reopening, we can only reopen a school based on MOE's stipulations. So we're guided by the MOE, and we will send an announcement out via Power School so that everybody gets the same information at the same time as to when the school will be reopening. So we will confirm that. And the second part of the question, they're asking about, can they continue to study online even if the school is open? Yes, we're not going to, we would like to encourage, obviously, the parents to send their children to school, but if they still have a concern regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus, then obviously they can stay at home, because the blended learning is taking place. So whether you're in school or at home, you're going to be having access to the platforms that we're using. You're going to be using your laptops. The teachers are going to make sure that you're engaged in the learning. So whether you're staying at home or in school, learning will continue. So we'd like to encourage you, obviously, to be in school, but if you're concerned and you prefer to stay at home, then obviously that's an option that we will support, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. Next question for Mr. Brown. Prior to recent announcement by the MOE that public school will be reopened regardless of CMCO, what's the status like for Spectrum to reopen?
Yes, to reiterate what I said earlier, is that we will make an announcement via Power School, and inshallah that will be going out ASAP. So it will be in written form, and it will be specific to what we've been told by the Ministry of Education. So we'll confirm that via a Power School announcement, inshallah.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. The next question is about the order for books and uniforms. So it's by Baizura Rahman, Puan Baizura Rahman. So her son is a new student. She had placed orders for books and uniforms via the suppliers, but she isn't sure what's the status of her purchase. She had emailed the supplier, but there's no reply. If you can have Madam Salwa to answer by the first question, thank you.
Yes, in fact, the parents can send us the email and share with us in student affair, and we will also follow up to be sure that they receive her order, there is no mistake, and inshallah we will help and assist, no worries.
Okay.
Just we need her to send us the email that she sent it to the supplier, and we can assist her.
Thank you, Madam Salwa. So we have our next question. A parent would like to keep communication with parents via one channel only. It's confusing to search for links to parents' meetings, students' completion, etc., where sometimes it was sent to students' account and sometimes parents' accounts. Can we have Mr. Osama to share with the parent? Thank you.
I will just read the question so I can understand the question again.
Sure.
So I would like to keep the communication with the parent via one channel only, sometimes confused to search for links to parent meetings, student completion, where sometimes it wasn't sent to student account and sometimes to the parent account. So actually we already put the effort, and we highlight regarding the communication, because the education without the parent to be part of the triangle of the education, student, school, parent, the student will not get anything from the education. He can just get small things, but by full communication with the parent is fully communicated and fully engaged with the school, they can understand. I understand your point that sometimes it's confused. Sometimes there are something related to the student. I need to follow up with the student. Sometimes they're related to you and you need to follow up by yourself. But we try our best. That we make things clear. And now it's clear. It's only everything is via parent Zoom. Just go to the parent Zoom. You will find the information that you needed. You can have access to course score is there, you can have access to use the diary is there, but sometimes we need to communicate with the student directly, like the subject classrooms. Like in Google Classroom, there are diary classroom. This is a communication between teacher and parent. This is the only platform to communicate with the teacher. You don't have any other platform. To be more clear, you don't have any other platform to communicate with the teacher, only via Google Diary. Only via Google Diary. Okay, this is the first point. Second point, if there are teacher students, they need to communicate. This is between subject classroom, and this is not accessed by the parent account. It's accessed only by student account. It's accessed only by student account. So let's say I need. Yes. Let's say I need to understand something related to the subject in detail, so I can ask my son, please open your Chromebook or your laptop, log into Google Classroom, and show me regarding the English or regarding the ICT subject in details. I need to know in details. If you need to communicate with the teacher and you understand what is the what is the updates about the subjects in general, this is the diary. Okay, so teacher-parent communication, this is by the Google Diary and it's Google Classroom. Student communication, this is via subject classroom. Okay. Third thing is if you need to communicate with the school to request something, this is the parent zone. Like what? You have an inquiry. You have issue regarding the laptop or issue regarding your account. This is you fill inquiry. You need to submit something related to what I can say. You need to submit something that you need to fetch your children early, right? This is via parent zone. So this is how you can communicate. This is how you can communicate. I will repeat it again. Teacher, parent, Google Diary, student, teacher, subject classroom. To request something from the school, this is via parent zone. And then we have the Power School. Power School, this is to give you live access about the student progress. What is his or her attendance? What is her marks and the progression? What is her assignment marks? What's her timetable? What's her schedule or his schedule? And so on. So I hope it's now clear. I hope it's now clear, right? Inshallah. It's only one platform. You can just access from parent zone. You will find everything is there. One platform you can just access from parent zone, you will find everything there. But in the same time, sometimes the teacher need to communicate with the student. That's why we make this communication clear and high active between teacher and the student. Anytime they can communicate, but anytime meaning they can communicate at night, but meaning the communication is there if there are something urgent. So I hope I answered your question and now is clear, inshallah. And you are working to develop to be more clear and clear, to be crystal clear, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you, teacher Liana.
Okay, the next question. My daughter just enrolled last year in year 1 and she doesn't have any basic in Arabic, reading and writing. How can the school support her learning? We tried to open Kalamon, however, it is purely in Arabic and it's difficult for us to understand the platform to assist her at home. Ustaz Shadi, could you please help this parent? Thank you.
Yes, okay. Regarding our teaching methods for the Arabic language, as I said in the presentation, that we choose the direct method. The direct method is the method of teaching that done entirely in the targeted language. By the target language, so the learner or the student is not allowed to use his or her own mother tongue language. The student is not allowed to use his mother tongue language. The grammar rules are avoided in this method. There is emphasized on the good pronunciation. So we put the student in a real situations in order to practice the language. The method that based on the translation called grammar translation method. The learning in this method is largely by translation to and from the targeted language. And the grammar rules are to be memorized and linguists or vocabs learned by heart. But this is not the effective way for learning a new language. For that, we choose in Spectrum school to use the direct method. I know that maybe the students may struggle at the beginning. That's expected and that's normal because it's a new language, especially for the younger students. But this challenge, inshallah, will be overcome by our teachers and by the platforms. The platforms are in English, yes, we know, but there is an option to change it to the English portion. So this method, the direct method that we choose, is the best method for teaching language. If we go to any other learning center, for example, British Council or whatever, the teachers in these centers only speak in English, regardless the nationality or the mother tongue of the students or the learners, whether they come from Malaysia, from India, from whatever. The teacher only speak in English in order to push the student and to encourage the student to practice the language. I hope that I answered the question. If it's not clear, please you can scan again. I'm happy to answer the question again. Thank you, Teacher Leanne.
Thank you, Ustaz Shadi. The next question would be about early dispatch of school hours. So a parent suggested for every session to be cut 5 minutes so that students can go home half an hour earlier. Can we have Mr. Brown to share your opinion with us? Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So reducing the time for the lessons to 30 minutes, we know that the best length of time is actually 60 minutes. There's been a lot of research which suggests that students actually need 60 minutes in order to have the 3-part lesson, the starter, the main, the plenary, to make sure there's enough time for the students to be actively engaged, doing activities, hands-on learning, making sure there's opportunities for them to ask questions, being able to do cooperative learning, and making sure that there's other types of teaching strategies such as assessment for learning are being embedded in the classroom. So we discussed it at the end of last year because of the pandemic, when we realized that we would have to do some online teaching and it wasn't going to be beneficial for the students to be online for 60 minutes per lesson. So we reduced it to 45 minutes because we looked at the syllabus, and whereas you're teaching 3 lessons which are 60 minutes long, then you can make sure you teach more lessons at 45 minutes. So that way we're still able to finish the syllabus because we need to make sure that the students have an opportunity to excel and to finish the curriculum and to make sure that they're ready to sit the examinations. And the only way that can be done is if we give them enough time in the lesson. So if we were to reduce it further to 30 minutes, the only way that would work is to extend the school day because we have to finish the curriculum. And obviously parents wouldn't want to extend the school day because there'd be more lessons and it would be more movement around the school. So we believed that 45 minutes would be ideal. And so it's not really possible to reduce to 30 minutes and still have only 7 periods in a day, because then that means we won't be able to finish the curriculum. And it's very important that the students, they do that. So that was a school-based decision that we made, that we decided to go to 45 minutes, and it's anything less than that, it will not really, it's not going to be beneficial in terms of trying to deliver the curriculum to the students. So we inshallah, we will have to stick to the 45 minutes, inshallah, until further notice. But we're a school that's always looking to improve and always reviewing, and we will look at that. But we think 45 minutes should suffice, really, inshallah ta'ala. So apologies that we can't change that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Our next question by Puan Aryu Datril. Puan Aryu, I believe Mr. Brown had answered this question just now about when the students would receive their report. And that would be on the 8th of January. It will be published and parents will be able to access them via Power School. Okay.
Just to say, Teacher Liana, we probably don't need to mention the parent's name. We just go through the question, please. Inshallah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Thank you so much. Let me see our next question. Okay, hold on. Okay, our next question. For students with learning disabilities, what are the school's readiness to support them? Does the school allow for extra time for exams?
Okay, it depends on what the learning disabilities are, so to speak. We do have some students that are SEN, special educational needs, so they're on the spectrum. But what we do as a school, we assess them when they come to the school. So it's very important that any student that does come to the school, we're able to ensure that they're able to achieve and their learning is not going to be disrupted in any way. They're able to maximize their potential. And if we don't have the resources to ensure that these students can learn, then we wouldn't take them into school. So we accept SEN students, providing that it's not a severe learning difficulty. Because like I said, we don't have an SEN department, so we don't have SEN specialists, because we're not that type of school, which you generally find quite a lot of international schools don't have those types of resources. So it depends on what their learning difficulties are. And if it's something that we can cope with the current resources that we have, then yes, we embrace those students and they can stay. So in terms of examinations, Cambridge, they recommend students have an extra 25 minutes for examinations. So it depends on what the SEN learning difficulty is, dyscalculia or dyslexia or autism. We really need to assess what it is, but we do accommodate them in that sense that we give them extra time for examinations and different types of resources in the lesson and more time to do their homework. And we modify the resources so they have access to it. So it really depends on where they are on the spectrum. If it's a severe case, then we wouldn't take them into school because we know we won't be able to provide an education for them. So that wouldn't be fair to them. So I hope that answers your question, inshallah.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, the next question is regarding exam. So a parent is asking if, let's say, during the process of scanning and the uploading went wrongly due to internet problem, can the student repeat the test?
Now, with the examination procedure, we sent out the SOP. So we hope that it's clear that the exam has to be done within a specific time. If the student has difficulty in scanning, then they need to communicate that straight away. We have had experiences where they weren't able to scan their papers and they wanted to send it the following day. We can't accept that because obviously they've had a window to be able to cheat. And I know people say, oh, yeah, but we didn't cheat, but that's besides the point. The point is that the opportunity is actually there. So therefore, we can't accept their paper. So if you go through the SOP, it's very strict in the sense that there is a time frame. Any problems you have, you can communicate that straight away, and then we make that decision and we act accordingly. But if the time frame is too long, if it's a day later, then we cannot accept it, unfortunately. But we do say that those papers are going to be marked. And we do say that the students are going to get feedback because this is what's important. It's about the learning. Only they just won't have the grade. I hope that answers the question.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Our next question is about how we arrange for books and uniform. So a parent is asking if there is a way where things would be more efficient. Can we have Madam Salwa to share with parents about this?
Yes. Of course, we have our website. We already have orientation before for all new parents, and we show them how to book the uniform on the box. And we are going to do it again, inshallah, and to show them how to do it. It's in our school, in our website, Parent Zone. I believe that all our new parents who are going to attend with us semester 2, they already received their password and email. So they can go to the Parents Zone and they can order from our website, the customer service there. They can show them all the service for the school. But if they need any guiding or help, we can also do for them another orientation to show them how to do it. We can make email to them, link, and to have a meeting with them and to show them again. But I believe Ustad Usama already, he mentioned that we will have another orientation, weekly or monthly to show the parents. And also this kind of training is already in the Parents Zone. It's there with 3 languages. So they can see how to book the books in uniform. But still, if they need any help, they can email us and we can share a link and show them how to do it. No worries.
Thank you, Madam Salwa. Okay, our next concern. So a parent is saying that when she emails a few teachers, she would not receive a quick response from these teachers. Can we have some feedback from Mr. Brown?
Okay, so apologies if you haven't had a quick response. We do try to respond to parents as quickly as possible. Just to clarify the procedure, that if you do send messages to the school via the parent inquiry, that suits the management because we're able to track and follow what's happening. So if you don't get a response, we can nudge the person and make sure that they do respond. And that's if you communicate to the school via the parent inquiry. If you email the teacher directly, then we can't track per se the email that's coming into to a teacher. So you're relying on the teacher responding directly without us being able to track. So we need to obviously look into that. The Google Classroom and Google Diary, from what I understand, is working very, very well because that's really one of the first points of contact, the Google Diary. You can contact the homeroom teacher, and the Google Classroom, the students can contact the subject teacher. I think with the email, because lots of emails are coming through, a lot of traffic, it's very difficult to track through. But if you communicate via parent inquiry, that's a lot more productive and a lot more beneficial because we can actually track it, and we say that within 3 days there will be a response. So I'd like to just try and encourage that we use the parent inquiry. But if the teachers haven't responded, I apologise for that. But we're trying to refine that process, inshallah ta'ala.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Our next question would be for Madam Salwa. A family is in Bangladesh. They are asking if they can get students and dependent pass.
So far, we are following up with the Ministry of Education and also the immigration. They are not allowed until now to get any new visa for any parents. So it's pending so far. Until we get any update from the visa department, inshallah, we will already inform the parents, and we already tell them they can attend the online classes until further information. So far, we're still waiting for the update, inshallah.
Thank you, Madam Salwa. Our next question is to Mr. Osama. Can children access Power School web?
Yes,
Mr. Osama?
yes, I am here. This is very good question from the parent. Yes, the student can access Power School to track their attendance directly, and they can track their progression and their assessment. I will just ask for something from our parent. Just ask your children to reach their ICT teacher in respective campus, Kuala Lumpur or Putrajaya, and ask her for the way how they can access. We already implemented this for start from upper primary and upward. This year, last year we implemented for secondary and upward. This year, inshallah, we start to implement it from upper primary and upward. So just ask your children to reach the ICT teacher, and inshallah she or he can help them, inshallah. But this is very good question, and we need this. We need that our students, they're responsible for their education, and they understand what's going on, what's my assessment, what's my marks, and so on. I just need to highlight two other questions that the parent mentioned regarding the workshop. We will have repeated workshop sessions, and especially for our new parent, we already do in the last week other two sessions during the holiday. I know some of the parents already, they are not around, they are outside Kuala Lumpur, or they cannot attend online, or they are not free at that time online. We will repeat this session soon, inshallah, and maybe by next week we'll updating you, and we'll have a monthly session regarding the spectrum education modules. Monthly session, different topics, and it will be covered. Until this session happen, inshallah, you can just have access from parent zone. You will find the manual, PDF manual. It includes all the details, and as well you will find video describe and explain about the manual in 3 languages, in Bahasa Melayu, in English, in Arabic, and as well you will find targeted manual. Targeted manual meaning for specific thing. Let's say I need to understand how I can access Power School. You will find around 20 pages like PDF manual mention about this, how I can access Barak, how I can access Karimun, and so on. So until the workshop come, please, this will be something useful for us and useful for you, sure, that have a look to it, and we'll answer your question soon, inshallah. We'll have repeated workshop because we emphasize about the engagement with our parent, to be engaged with our student and understand what's going on, inshallah. Thank you, teacher Liana. I hope I answered your question. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Osama. Now, our next question. A student from grade 6 could not access to Barak, so the parent wished for his child to be given access for Barak. Ustad Shadi, would you like to?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Teacher Liana. Thanks for the question. Please refer directly to the subject teacher. Refer please to the subject teacher. She can help in this matter. She will refer to me. She will give me all the information for the student, the student number and the school email, so I can we can create the account, or we can check if there is any technical issue with the account. So please again refer back to the school for the subject teacher. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Osama. Okay. The next question is it possible to reopen the school only for 2-3 days a week till the situation return to normal? And all of us as a school and parents be really confident that it will be safe for our children. Mr. Brown?
Okay, thank you, Teacher Liana. So yeah, this question is a very good question, and I think it's one which a lot of parents are obviously thinking about because they have concerns about returning to school. And it's a very good suggestion, and no doubt whenever parents make these suggestions, we want to take these suggestions on board. However, I think it's important for you to remember that I did say initially that we will be sending an announcement out as soon as possible via Power School, and it's very important that we do that because, like I said, maybe there's 200 parents listening right now, and people understand things slightly different, and they can communicate things slightly different. But if it's written, then everybody can read it, interpret it for themselves, and they can have that discussion. So I just have to ask for you to be patient, that we will send out an announcement, and we have had a meeting once already and talked about a strategical approach, how to welcome the students back to school. So we will stipulate in the announcement exactly how that's going to be done, because what's paramount of importance to us is the students' safety and well-being. So we're not going to have all the students just rushing into school, so to speak. So we do have a strategic plan in place, and we will communicate that through the official means, which is the Power School. So I just have to ask again if you can just be patient, that all the parents will receive this announcement at the same time, so that they'll be clear as to how we're going to have the students returning to school, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Madam Suraya, I believe the next question is for you regarding ECA. We need to have alternatives for ECA activities if they are done online. For example, badminton, how can someone learn to play the game just by watching online videos? The consent by parent. Over to you, Madam Suraya.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the question. So we already have planned for these ECE programs. We are in the process to finalize it. So we will update both parents and students soon, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Madam Suraya. Hold on, there's one more question here. Okay. A parent is asking if there's a way for their children to submit their concern for the school. Mr. Brown?
Yeah, so the students, first and foremost, they have their homeroom session every morning. So this is the first opportunity they have to raise any concerns or questions. So they should do that during the homeroom session. After that, they can contact the teachers via the Google Classroom, so they can send messages via the Google Classroom, and some students communicate with the teachers via the chat. So they have three mediums where they can actually communicate with the teachers. So specifically the homeroom time, if there's any social concerns or they're having problems with their homework or general safety concerns, they should be discussing that with their homeroom teacher first thing in the morning, and they can send messages via the Google Meet when they're having their meeting. Then during the course of the day, they can communicate with the teachers via Google Classroom or via Teams. So that's what we try to encourage them to use those tools for communication. Inshallah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Let's give 1 minute for any parent to perhaps ask questions if you have any. You may scan the given code if you have any question to ask. We'll wait for 1 more minute for any question before we close the session. Thank you. Okay, hold on. There's one question to be answered. Let me go. Okay, one question had been raised in regards to confusion of having many applications and accounts, and a parent had suggested that information is filtered and classified before it is being shared with parents. Can I have Mr. Osama to describe
Okay.
this? Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Liana. Thank you, parent, for your concern and your feedback and your questions. I just to highlight something again. Regarding the communication platform, the parent to communicate with the teachers, they only have one platform. It's the Google Diary. This is the communication between parent and teacher. The communication between parent and the school, this is through the portal, through the forms, the kind of forms that we have it. Between student and teacher, this is through the subject classroom, it's Google Classroom. So this is the ways. So no need to mix these 3 ways, but this is only the 3 ways, and there are no multiple of the ways. Okay. Regarding the Spectrum Education modules, yes, I understand that, let's say for Barak, there are username and password. For Kalimun, there are username and password. For MyIMS, there are username and password. For Twig, there are username and password, and so on. We are now working to combine all of this to be using only via one account. We are working to combine this one, only the email that the school provided to the parent or to the student, so they can access via the email and via the password of the email. We are working to develop this, but it's not something easy that you just make sure that all of the application already implemented the access through the email, because we have in Spectrum Education module, we have a lot of modules there, but we already have some already integrated with our credential information, like MC EduHub. You can access through your email. No need for other username and password. QFiles, the digital library, same. What else? Twig, same. So parent zone and the student portal, all the portal and Google Classroom and so on, only access through the username, the email, and the password that we provided. We have other apps we are working on it, like MyIMS, MyIMS, and Barak, Kalimun, and the other application we are working to be integrated with our credential, inshallah. Just give us some times, and we will make it, inshallah. And we are working to have only single sign-on. Single sign-on meaning only using your email and password, you can access all the application. We are working to do this, inshallah. It will take some time, but we are working to do this. And this is very valid question, inshallah. Thank you, Beren, for your feedback. Thank you, Teacher Liana.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Osama. There's a question here by a student. He tried to reach a teacher, but he can't. For you, I would advise that we would speak to you personally. Okay, we'll speak to you personally and get this matter sorted, inshallah. Yeah? Okay, we have one suggestion here. Maybe instead of combining all the password, we can have a shorter password that is easier for all access. So that would be for Mr. Osama, this suggestion. Thank you. Thank you, parent. Okay, so I believe that would be all the questions. Thank you so much, dear parents, for contributing and suggesting, giving your ideas and asking questions for clarification today. We thank you very much for taking the time off your busy schedule and be with us today. Okay, and inshallah, we do hope that this event will be the start and the continuation for a better relationship between schools and parents for the betterment of our children, inshallah. So with this, I would like to end the session and thank the parents again, students who are participating with us, teachers and school administrators. that would be all for today. Thank you all so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.